I recently had the thought, could a normal road car survive a rally stage? So that is what I want to find out in this video. I will take the most basic first generation Ibishu Pessima onto a gravel rally stage and see if it can survive it. The Pessima does have the advantage of being front wheel drive, which will hopefully make it easier to handle on gravel compared to a rear wheel drive car. Of course, 4-wheel drive would be the best, but I think that would be a bit too good for a test like this. Now, before I showcase the full run-through of the stage, I want to start by mentioning a few things I noticed about how the car handles while driving it fast on a rally stage. First thing I noticed straight from getting off the starting line was the lack of grip from the normal road tires. Not the most confidence-inspiring thing to have when driving a rally stage. Then there's the understeer thanks to the car's front engine front-wheel drive layout, along with just the lack of grip. This meant I had to use the handbrake to rotate the car even on some not so tight corners. On longer, shallow corners I could keep the car on the correct line by using the foot brake to shift the weight onto the front tires, giving them more grip. Gearing is also a problem. This being a normal road car means it has quite long gearing for this type of driving. Mostly used second gear throughout the stage, dropping to first on the tighter corners and only going to third on really fast sections, but never shifting higher than that. And of course the suspension is not the best for handling this kind of abuse, but it did its job well enough even on jumps. Also lastly, have to mention that the open differential didn't help things anywhere. With those things mentioned, I have to show some crashes from failed runs, because what would a BeamNG Drive video be without some of those? After those, I will be showcasing the full run. First run ended after this tight corner, where I went too wide on exit and hit a tree, causing a good amount of front end damage. A classic rally crash really. On the second run, I took the entry for this corner way too wide and hit the rear quarter of the car into a tree. Some decent damage there as well. Ended the third run by misjudging the line for this corner and hitting a tree on the inside straight on. And again, a nice amount of damage on the front end there. Few runs got ruined by this small but rough jump, because it had the fun chance of breaking the oil pan. The car wouldn't survive too long after it, so if that happened, I'd just reset straight away. This run ended in a fun way. Decided to go way too fast and understeer off this corner into some mud, which the car got very stuck in. No idea what I was doing here, left the braking and turn in way too late for this hairpin, and as a result went straight on into a tree stump. A dumb way to end a run. Now it's time for the full run through of the stage, starting by launching it off the starting line, car struggling to find grip, and here you can see how much the revs drop when shifting into second gear. First corner is a long right, no problem for the car to get through this. That corner leads into a tight left, for which I use the handbrake to rotate the car through. Then a straight that starts bending to the right, featuring a few bumps and this fun, small but quite rough jump over a puddle. And that leads to a 90-degree corner. After that, a short straight where I can build back up some speed, and which leads into a left that starts pretty tight but opens up. Following that section, there's a sort of straight that starts heading uphill, after which is a nice right. Then a short downhill leading into a tightening left. Could have probably used the handbrake here as well to get through it a bit faster. Another short sort of straight here, which goes into a very long left. Following that corner, there's a pretty severe water crossing that slows the car down quite a bit. Through this corner with the help of the handbrake, once again, tipping the right front tire off the road just a bit on exit. Then just some easy shallow corners through this logging area that lead into a hairpin, which I struggle to get through smoothly. Using the word through quite a lot, but can't think of anything better. Continuing to go through the logging area without any problems and getting to another tight corner on the exit of the logging area section. Following that is a nice straight where I can get some speed up, small dip in the middle before another very long left, through which I could have carried more speed, but I also had to use the brake a bit to give some more grip to the front tires. After the bridge, there's a series of corners, so turning in and using the handbrake to rotate the car, doing the same for this left here after a very short straight. Then the corner tightens again, so I use the handbrake some more. After that, the road starts going uphill and bending to the right, tightens quite a bit at the top, and using the handbrake once more, but that slowed me down quite a bit, but thankfully there's a fast downhill section that follows where I was able to build up speed, going into a cool looking rock cavern tunnel thing. Following that, the road goes uphill again, and after the crest, there's a pretty long medium right. After a short straight, there's yet another very long shallow left. No idea why I used the handbrake there. Could have easily gotten through here with just using the foot brake to keep the car on the correct line. That leads into a series of short, easy back and forth corners, a fun section to drive. Using the handbrake throughout those corners. Now starts the fastest section of the stage, so I took this quite carefully. I didn't want to risk a horrible crash at this point of the stage, so even though I could have probably gone flat through here, I did lift quite a bit to keep the speed in check. Then a very long uphill with a small jump while going up it, and another jump after the crest, and one more jump at the bottom for good measure. Thankfully, no serious damage from all of those jumps. After some flat straight road, there's a fast left into a very long shallow right that goes uphill first, and then downhill, ending with a dip that bottoms out the car, at least judging from the sound. Then into a fast left that tightens a bit, using the brake to get some rotation through the tightening part, short uphill straight into a left, then a fast section with a few ups and downs and a slight right bend. That leads onto a short tarmac section where I could take it pretty easy. Small jump on the straight with a pretty hard landing, and after that the road starts going left, which leads directly to a 90-degree turn back onto a gravel road. Left the handbrake turn quite late there. And now the last section is a fast flowing gravel road without any real interesting features. So we'll have to get imaginative here to come up with anything interesting to commentate about. Though, don't get me wrong, it's a very fun section to drive. Fast corners with some short straights in between, along with elevation changes, is a good recipe for an enjoyable road to drive. And the car has no problem handling a section like this. At this point, didn't even really have to think about it not being a rally car. And there's the finish coming up through all the boards there, after which I could slow down. Driving a bit further from the finish, and stopping the car with one last handbrake turn. Reversing it back onto the road and parking it up to get a good ending shot. So in conclusion, yes, you can take a normal car onto a rally stage and it can survive it without major damage, but you have to drive it quite carefully and it's easy to mess up.